Chapter 7. You know, Billy said as he, Robo, and Harrison turned onto Highway 68 toward home base. Why don't we just have the town hall at the motel where we're staying? They've got a big meeting room.
Sounds good to me,
Robo said. Harrison sat mute, looking out the back window of the vehicle. Billy, watching him in the rearview mirror, wondered if his silence was due to jet lag, or indifference, or anger, and for a moment suppressed a tiny bit of guilt for the hazing, which passed as quickly as it had arrived.
Stop!
Robo screamed and almost opened his door at 55 miles an hour. Billy did as he was told and pulled to the shoulder of the road, and before the vehicle was fully stopped, Robo was out the door, jogging in the direction they had come, and then off the side of the road, through the grass and into the brush. Billy sat almost stunned as did Harrison, whose mouth hung open. Maybe he had a potty, Billy said simply until curiosity overtook him, causing him to exit and follow. Robo, where you going, big man? He yelled.
I saw one,
Robo replied, not even bothering to turn around as he continued to walk in the direction of trees. Saw one?
I swear I saw Bigfoot.
Billy ran toward Robo and then contemplated going back to the SUV to get a camera and decided he was already too far away. He had to see for himself, and if he didn't go now, he might miss it. Robo was always hopeful, but he was also deadly serious. By the time Billy caught up, Robo had emerged on the other side of the trees and stood looking across what appeared to be a pasture.
I know I saw him standing here,
Robo said. The big man looked to the ground for a moment before apparently deciding tracks weren't to be had before gazing over the hillside once more.
That house.
Oh,
What about it?
Robo asked.
Think they seen him?
One way to find out, Billy said, and the pair began walking in that direction. Harrison had exited as well and was following far behind as if irritated. The farmhouse, complete with a wraparound porch and empty white chairs, sat facing the hills of Tellico and a small dirt road. When the researchers finally arrived, they were greeted by a wagging dog that might have been part German Shepherd, carrying something in its mouth, smiling at them. An older man with skin the color of a marin's egg, sporting a crew cut and wearing overalls, appeared at the door even before they locked. Hello, Billy said. I know this is going to sound crazy, but my big friend here thought he saw something standing at the tree line by Highway 68, so we got out to investigate. We're researchers. I hope we're not trespassing.
No, it'll be fine.
Have you, seen anything around? Billy asked. The man didn't speak, but suppressed a smile. You know, like a big upright creature? Billy continued.
Like him?
The man said, motioning to Robo. Sort of like him, yes.
Bigger than him?
Billy said nothing, turning to Robo, who stood trying not to smile, but showing the gap of his missing tooth anyway.
He's out there here,
the man said before looking over their shoulders and around the yard.
Lots of times at sunset.
You do know what we're talking about, then?
I know.
Could you describe him?
Taller and heavier than your friend,
the man said as he motioned for the dog to come to his side.
Covered in brown fur. Not light brown or black like a bear, but deep mahogany, matted and tangled. His face is flat. Long arms.
Billy's face looked as though he was 8 and had just opened his favorite Christmas present. He leaned forward, and for a moment it appeared he might hug the man. You got a good look, then.
Every time.
Every time? More than once? Billy asked.
Yes, more than once.
The man was smiling now.
Boss, I know a good place for a night investigation,
Robo said, smiles all around. Can I ask your name?
Tom Woods, the man said before adding, but he might not show.
I'm not clear, Billy said. I thought you said he stood there often.
He knows things.
The man stood there as the statement slammed the conversation into silence. Finally, Billy pressed on with his questioning.
He knows things?
Billy asked. What if the conversation turned out to be like the one he had experienced earlier? Maybe these people were all crazy.
My mother was a Cherokee Indian, the man said. People call them Native Americans now, I know, but she was a Cherokee. She knew quite a bit about life in the hills.
Go on.
She said they read your mind. They can make you forget, too.
Billy didn't really know where to go from there, so he waited and was rewarded with more.
He knows I mean no harm. He doesn't feel threatened. He allows me to see him.
Did she pass along any other bits of folklore? Billy asked.
It's not folklore, really. It's the truth. They're much smarter than anyone gives them credit. If you listen, they communicate with you. But most times they simply make you forget.
Billy looked over to Robo, whose mouth hung agape now. It was then he noticed Harrison now stood among them. It was impossible to ascertain what the city slicker thought about the conversation.
I'd like to communicate with a Bigfoot,
Robo said.
I'd tell him I think he's awesome.
I think you would, Tom said. I'm sorry. My name's Billy, and this is Robo and Harrison. Billy extended his hand, which Tom shook. Could we come out here one evening and see if we can spot him?
You're more than welcome. I wouldn't suspect you'd see him, though. No offense, but I think he'd recognize your motives.
There was more to Tom than met the eye. Speaking slowly didn't always indicate slowness of the mind. In fact, sometimes it meant the opposite. You think he'd see the cameras? Billy said.
They're shy creatures,
Robo added.
He'd know an hour before you arrived, Tom said, smiling. You're welcome to try, though.
Could we interview you on camera?
No one wants to see me on TV.
Billy knew in his heart that wasn't true. This was possibly the most credible witness he had ever met. We'll be in touch before we just show up, Billy said. You have a lovely place.
Thank you, boys. Be careful. Look around if you like.
Tom turned and proceeded slowly inside, leaving behind the dog to supervise the Bigfoot team and escort them away before stopping at the end of the yard to watch them leave. I'd love to get Tom on camera, Billy said, saying exactly what he told us.
You think he's right? About the communication and all?
Robo asked. It sure would explain some things. Billy seemed to be lost in thought as they walked. It might be like a dog. I read they pick up on facial expressions and body language. Dogs study us continually. It's almost as if they read our minds when, in reality, your body movements and actions are speaking to the dogs without a word being said. Robo nodded in agreement, then added,
But what Tom said, they don't just communicate. It's almost like a sort of mind control in certain cases.
Billy nodded and considered the comment. He looked to Harrison. Sort of like Harrison there, Billy said. The comment caused the actor to raise his eyes. His body language is speaking volumes.
I'm just tired.
Billy didn't really believe him. Robo was still considering the comments.
So, he let us see him. If Tom's right.
Maybe so, Billy replied. They noticed the blue lights before they made it through the trees. At first, Billy thought someone might have hit their big vehicle on the side of the road. He couldn't recall how well he had parked. Then his heart skipped a beat when he thought about the equipment inside. What if someone had broken into the vehicle? The officers noticed them before the researchers made it to the vehicle also, and turned to watch them trek up the embankment. Sorry, officers. We thought we saw something in the trees and went to investigate. I hope we were sufficiently out of the road, Billy said, smiling.
It is,
The first officer said. He stood up straight and smiled as well. Straight teeth, dark hair, crew cut, sinewy muscles in his forearms, slim waist. If he had been on a motorcycle, he would have resembled an officer from the old television show Chips.
Was it Bigfoot?
You've seen our show. Maybe. Robo had to investigate.
Find him?
Not yet, Billy said.
A big fan,
The other officer said.
Are you guys filming here?
We are, Billy said. Have you heard any stories? Billy knew law enforcement had been contacted. Possibly these officers had interviewed Mrs. Bennett. The officers looked at each other, and the first raised his eyebrows before it seemed a silent consent was reached.
We have,
the officer said.
We saw him.
What? Billy blurted. Saw him? I thought you might say you spoke with someone who had seen him.
Well, we have, but we saw him. I saw him near a cemetery, and Chad came out and he was still there.
What was he doing? I mean the Bigfoot.
I couldn't tell. There's a big field behind the cemetery. He was looking across it.
I check out the cemetery most nights, and kids go in there. It was dusk. He was just standing there across the field by the trees, looking around, real still. I don't know how I noticed him. Would you guys go on camera and tell the story? The officers looked to each other and decided it might be fun. Then they gave their contact information to Harrison, who Billy had finally found useful. The team was anxious to return to base. The day had been productive. Rink would be excited but skeptical, as usual. They might even be able to one-up Gable. It wasn't likely, but maybe.